Who's jumping off the Knicks bandwagon? Because we're taking receipts. And by we, let's bring in Kazeem Famuyide from Fanatics and the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast so we can talk some Knicks basketball. Kaz, what's going on, man? Through your whole government out there. What's up, bro?
Hey, I'm glad you nailed the last name too. So we super good after this. Absolutely. Things are all right, man. I can't complain. How's everything on your side?
Everything's cool, man. I watched about I listened to you pronounce your name about 10 times to make sure I got it right, man. to show love.
You nailed it.
There we go. All right, man, let's talk about this bandwagon because after last weekend with the losses to the Cavs and the Celtics, it got a little light. People taking slights at the Knicks. Boogie Cousins called the Knicks a good average because of their 0-7 record against the top teams in the NBA. I personally wouldn't call them average because they are a top 5 team. But overall, I'm going to ask you, are the Knicks a good average team?
They're better than a good average team. All right. You got to understand, this is a team that is still only 40 plus games together that they've been playing with each other, going up against guys like the Thunder, the Celtics, and the Cavs, who each at least have 2 to 3 years of continuity to really go off of for the past couple of years. And it's a reason why they're playing so well in the regular season to have an opportunity to win the championship or repeat as champions with the Cavaliers in the case of the Boston Celtics. I ain't jumping off the bandwagon, man, because for a team who has been without its starting center for most of the year, made very impactful trades to their starting lineup, and still happen to be a top 5 record in the entire NBA. I'm taking that, man. As a longtime Knicks fan, I know what the other side of that looks like. And I don't know if y'all check the calendar, they don't give away trophies in February. So I would think the people that are jumping off the bandwagon and going a little crazy, ease up just a little bit. They still got a lot of time to get this thing together.
All right, pump your brakes a little bit before you get to the road that with the congestion taxes. But we got to talk Mikal Bridges, man, because this is a dude that this organization gave a lot up for. And against those 7 games against the top teams in the league, he's pretty much been at the back of the milk carton. I got some stats for you. In those 7 games, 14 points per game, 45% from the field, 19% from the arc, and the Knicks have been outscored by 136 total points when he's been on the court during those 7 games. How does Thibs and this organization get more out of Bridges against the elite teams?
I'll say this, man. There's been a lot of times already during the season where it felt like the New York Knicks could get a lot more out of Mikal Bridges. And obviously, there's always going to be that big spotlight on him because of what the Knicks gave up to get him. But at the end of the day, man, he's got to just give more. Whether it's offensively, whether it's defensively, which I think has been a little bit, overestimated. I think people have been a little bit more hard on him defensively than I think he deserves at this point. But at the end of the day, you got to give more. When you go out and make a trade for Mikal Bridges, when you go out and spend $200+ million in the OG Anunoby, you're not necessarily just looking at what they're providing you, but you're looking at why you bring them on this team. And if you're looking at matchup for matchup, you're looking at the top of the Eastern Conference in the Boston Celtics. You bring in a Mikal Bridges to slow down a Jason Tatum. You bring in a Mikal Bridges to slow down a Jaylen Brown. And every single time the Boston Celtics have went up against the New York Knicks, Jason Tatum hasn't just survived. He's thrived against that team. And that's one of those things that you are brought in to do. You need to be able to at least spell them, make it difficult for them. I don't think I've seen Jason Tatum sweat against the New York Knicks this entire regular season. And that's the long and short of it for me. I seen him on Christmas Day. Big game. He's had big games throughout the season. He's still a big part of the reason why the New York Knicks have one of the top offenses in the league. But it's that specific matchup that I believe him and OG was brought in to do. And as of right now, it's been a no contest with the Celtics. Tatum and Brown have been absolutely dominant against them.
Yeah, Jason Tatum hasn't sweat out his Beijing not once.
I'm saying, bro,
I don't
like
know
the
how.
light skinness. It's
How does the
been
hair
light
stay
work, bro.
like that? I'm just, maybe because I'm 40 and mine's going back like LeBron, I'm a little envious. But after his post-game press conferences and stuff, the dude looked like he was at the YMCA. Let's talk about
Can't have
defensively,
that.
man, because you talk about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. what they've been able to do against this team. Our guy CP the Franchise from Knicks Fan TV tweeted that he's hearing that Mitchell Robinson can be back as early as Friday against the Grizzlies. Right now, defensively, in defensive rating, the Knicks are 20th in the league on the season. But in terms of this last month, in terms of February, they're at the bottom of the NBA. Is Mitch the answer or the guy that can turn around this defense?
You got to remember what you're getting back from Mitchell Robinson if you're getting a healthy Mitchell Robinson into this lineup. This is a guy who, when healthy, was probably going to be in an all-defensive team as far as the centers are concerned. He was in the same conversations as Rudy Gobert as far as people who can anchor the back of your defense like no else, and there's not a lot of people like that in the NBA. The Knicks have them. On top of that, Tom Thibodeau, it kills him that this Knicks team doesn't have the defensive identity that it's usually equipped with when it comes to, a Tom Thibodeau-led New York Knicks team. Mitch Robinson doesn't just bring a great defensive anchor, but offensive rebounding, getting you more possessions, cleaning up those messes. That is what he brings to this team. And on top of that, when you're looking at the Cavaliers and the Celtics, there's been just too many times that you look at this Knicks team and they just look small. They just look small against those dudes. You're looking at the Celtics with Cornette and Porzingis and Horford. You look at the Cavaliers with Mobley and Allen. And, even though he's not a big man, but DeAndre Hunter, those are just big bodies that were just pummeling this Knicks team over this past weekend that everybody saw on national television. And in addition to the addition of Mitchell Robinson, I think one thing that really helps him when he comes back to this unit is it helps the New York Knicks bench. I think in all likelihood, Josh Hart slides into a reserve role for the New York Knicks. And outside of the defensive lapses that the Knicks have had, the bench production has been too inconsistent. I mean, Deuce has had his nights. Landry Shamit's coming around. We've had Campaign have some nights really well, but we've seen what Josh Hart can do. He's a Swiss Army knife. You could put him anywhere on a team, and he's going to benefit. I think the addition of Mitch to the lineup and Josh Hart going to the bench is going to really it's really going to put a little bit of rocket power into that bench unit because he can grab his own rebounds. He can push the break. He can get easy shots for guys like McBride, like Shamit, like Payne. And in addition to all that, it makes the New York Knicks bigger as a starting lineup is concerned. Mikal gets to be a natural 2. OG gets to be a natural 3. He gets to be a little bit more aggressive in the paint, and it slows the game down. You don't have to worry about Towns and Brunson just being all buckets all the time for the Knicks to have a chance to win. Mitchell's addition to this lineup hopefully really rounds out this Knicks franchise, and hopefully we see something different than what we saw against the Cavs and the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, the way you just broke it down, it looks like we're going to see a bunch of different lineups, almost like it's a brand new team when he gets healthy and he gets back into this lineup. So, again, a lot of people are going to want to jump back on the bandwagon if they do go on a run and, make a push for at least that 2 seed. All right, let's talk about tonight because they're 1-2 out of the All-Star break. You got a banged-up Philly squad heading up I-95 to play at the Garden tonight. How important is this game tonight for the Knicks against a banged-up 76ers team in front of a home crowd?
I mean, you definitely want to win the game. I don't think it's a must win at any case, but you look at what's been happening with the Philadelphia 76ers. They're a complete mess. No matter how you feel about the New York Knicks, you could look right down I-95 and be like, you know what? At least they didn't pay Paul George $190 million. At the end of the day, it could always be worse. So look at it that way, Knicks fans. But in any case, Embiid's hurt. Maxi's off and on. They've been riddled with injuries. It would really behoove the Sixers to try and even win this game at this point. That's how bad it's gotten with them. So would you want the Knicks to win this game? Yes. Should they win this game? Yes. And, obviously the 0-7 mark against the Cavs, Celtics, and Thunder is going to be a big of a stain, but look at the rest of the league, 37-19 around the rest of the NBA. And of course, when you're in that division, you want to handle business. The Philadelphia 76ers are the next team up, and I think the Knicks will welcome the Sixers into the Garden to really, really get back on the good foot and get some momentum back going on their side.
Yeah, I tell Philly sports fans all the time. Yeah, you got Saquon. Yeah, y'all won the Super Bowl, but the Sixers are trash.
You ever see that meme? You ever see that meme when it's like, yo, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and it was like, what did it cost you? It was like the Sixers. That's exactly what it's like.
That's how
So
it
it
goes,
could always be
man.
worse.
That's how it goes. All right, I got to, before I let you run, man, this is the media side of me. You know, this is the New York Post. I know they just extended Thibs' contract, but if this defense doesn't turn things around, and let's say they don't make it out of the second round of the playoffs, would Knicks fans be down for making a coaching change?
Um, I got to be honest, man. I don't see it happening. I think what we've all seen with Tom Thibodeau over the years is that he's really stabilized this franchise. And always remember what it was like before Thibs got here, you know? And not only that, the Knicks, the way they've been run, especially in the Leon Rose era, has been very tight-knit, very family-oriented. So it's more than just letting go of Thibs. It's the relationship that he has with Brunson. It's the relationship he has with Hart. It's the relationship he has with the front office. And on top of that, you can't discount the type of development a lot of these players have had under Coach Thibodeau. Look at some of these great Knicks players that have left and gotten super paid because they've gotten to play under Tom Thibodeau, and maybe the production isn't as great in New York as it was in their new situation. That really goes to show you how well Tom Thibodeau is as far as developing talent, which I don't think he gets a ton of credit for. Look at what he's done for Brunson. Look what he's done for Karl Anthony Towns in the second go around as one of his coaches. I'm not one of those people that's ready to throw Thibs under the bus. Can he make a little bit better in-game adjustments? Any coach can, but at the same time, you can't necessarily equate what he's done as far as stabilizing his franchise and giving it an identity. Unless you got somebody in your back pocket that you believe takes this team over the top, which I don't know about you guys. I don't know who's out there that takes this Knicks team over the top as a coach. I think you hold on to Thibs no matter what this. I mean, obviously, unless they fall flat in their face, get swept in the first round or something like that, then obviously changes might need to be made. But I think this team plays hard for Thibs. They love him. And I don't necessarily think he's going anywhere.
You just hit everybody with marriage advice. It's like, yeah, your spouse could be getting on your nerves, but think about your exes. Think about how bad.
Exactly. Have you seen outside? Have you seen how it looks like out there? You
Ain't
don't
nothing
want to be
out there in the
outside.
streets. Ain't nothing out there.
Marry the woman of your youth.
Hey, Cos, appreciate you hopping on with us, man.
Anytime, Brandon. Appreciate you, brother.